Oscar BEVIS for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I'm here at the KSI Logan Paul 2 press conference, and I'm delighted to be joined by Sky's Adam Smith. First things first, Adam, I just said this to you a minute ago. Have you ever seen anything like this outside a press conference?
It's extraordinary, isn't it? You know, I think people were queuing from 6 o'clock this morning, lines and lines of fans, and, you know, a real young, new, vibrant demographic. And look, they've come to see their YouTube heroes. It's an incredible event, and listen, we're excited to be part of it. It's something really different for us. It's changing times, and you know, if it can bring a whole new audience to boxing, then as we say, bring it on. I think, you know, it's been a huge climb over the last 5 or 6 years in the boxing world globally. We've had some wonderful fights, some great stories, the heavyweight division alive and well, and, you know, now we've got 2 YouTubers who are captivating a completely different market. And you add on there the likes of sort of Billy Joe Saunders, Devin Haney, some of the top fighters in our world, and, you know, you're going to get a lot of eyeballs on boxing. So I think it's really exciting. I think that it is. They're 2 great characters, KSI and Logan Paul. You know, we're not saying that they can really box, that they're anything but a couple of novices, because that's what they are. But look, there's a lot of beef. They're training hard, and they've got a score to settle. And look how many people want to watch it. The eyeballs on this are going to be huge. It's in many ways, it's the sort of standout, rather bizarre event of the year. It's not the AJ Ruiz wonderful rematch in the boxing world that we're all excited about, or the huge schedule we've got coming up to Christmas. It's different. This is entertainment. This is something that the young are demanding, and this is what we're going to give them.
Of course, there is scepticism around this, especially from a hardcore boxing fan point of view.
I'm a hardcore fan myself, so it is. I can totally understand that.
But when you see something like we're going to see here today, is it hard to sort of not take your eyes off of it? Because if Sky don't pick it up, somebody else will.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point, but I think that, you know, we're looking at everything that moves forward. It's not just boxing. This is not just sport. This is entertainment. This is a different world than we had a few years ago. You know, I went to see Logan in LA last week, and I spent Friday morning with KSI, and, you know, these guys are smart individuals. You know, they hit a market a few years ago which has literally exploded, and everybody now wants to be a YouTube star. My 8-year-old daughter Tilly has her own channel. You know, everyone wants to do it now, and you know, you walk around a group of sort of 30 to 50-year-olds and ask them about KSI and Logan Paul, they don't really know, but anyone underneath that, they know everything about them. So it's just giving entertainment to an audience, and I think you're right. I think somebody else would have snapped it up. You know, YouTube did it last time. It's a new venture for us. It's a $9.95 price. It's not what we normally charge for the Sky Sports box office event. So it is different, and we're seeing it as different, and we know it's a different demographic and a different audience. But and I understand the hardcore, and I understand the trade who'll say, you know, how can these guys be topping a bill with Haney and Billy Joe on the card, so to speak. But Billy Joe can't wait to be on that card. He can't wait to see those guys topping the bill, and actually it's entertainment. You know, we did a slightly different thing, but it was bringing the 2 worlds together in Mayweather and McGregor a couple of years ago, and that was just a phenomenal event. You know, we all believed that Mayweather would win that, and he did, but it was a great, you know, terrific build-up. It was fun, and I think if you take it for what it is, it's entertainment, and that's what we want to be giving fans.
I suppose, like you said about Mayweather and McGregor, if you talk about a foregone conclusion, that probably is actually more of a foregone conclusion than this. But anyone who's watched the first fight that they had with the sides of the gloves and the head guards, is it fair enough to say that this could be a fight that could be over in a minute 30 seconds once they get hit?
Of course it could. I mean, you know, I've watched them both train, and you know, they're novices. Let's not kid ourselves. I mean, Logan's got a bit of a wrestling background. He's been training very hard for the last year. You know, he's under Shannon Briggs' tutelage, and, you know, Shannon and Usler all go way back. So they're not messing around here. Whereas Vidal Riley's with KSI, and they're going to go and spend some time with Jeff Mayweather in Vegas after this. So you know, they're training really hard for it. And as you said, take away the head guards, give them the 10-ounce gloves, and you know, there is a possibility that one of them's going to go, and it could be very exciting. But I think if you take it for what it is, at its level, if you're a boxing fan and you enjoy the card and the big night at the Staples Center, but then if you're if you're on YouTube and in that generation with the 17 odd million on Instagram that Logan has, and the millions that KSI brings to the party, you know, all they want to do is they want to see their heroes fight, and they want to see a winner and a loser. So you know, they're going to get that. You know, my kids are on their way down. I'm sure there's a lot of others that are just trying to be here, flock here to be at this event that won't be able to get to LA. And you know, this thing started, what, a year and a half ago when KSI fought Joe Weller, and it was the same night that Lawrence Okoli fought Isaac Chamberlain. And I said to my 11-year-old boy at the time that day, who wins, as in Okoli or Chamberlain? And he said, KSI, of course. I didn't know what he was talking about. Now I know, and we all need to know, because this is the changing world.
In terms of the card, Devin Haney and Billy Joe Saunders are the two that we know will feature as the sort of the bigger names on there. Opponent-wise, what can we expect? I've heard rumours about Billy Joe perhaps fighting a fairly unknown Ghanaian, an unknown quantity, should we say?
I'm not sure yet. I need to talk to Eddie about that. I've been locked away in other things, but I'm sure both of them will have good fights. It's important that they have fights where we can also, you know, almost sell their talent as well to the world of the young, the 12 to 24, whatever that demographic is that Logan and his brother Jake and KSI bring as well. But yeah, I think it's important that they're in serious competitive fights, but also they have a chance to shine and show what they can really do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to a stacked card and a big night at the Staples Center.
Okay, I want to go back to Saturday's action from New York.
Yep.
Gennady Golovkin, Sergey Derevyanchenko.
Great fight.
Fantastic fight. After Spence Porter, it's a lot resting on fights like that, especially from America over here, and we got another cracker. Talk to me about Golovkin. Obviously, it came out after that he was ill. There was a lot of controversy over the cards, and he got booed at the MSG as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, just talk to me about the fight in general and Golovkin's
well, I think what a fortnight it's been. You know, I was in LA for Spence and Porter. It was one of the great fights of recent times. Terrific clash. They put absolutely everything into it. Then we had the Golden Contract here on Friday night, which was a great start. Two really good fights as we ticked on through the night. Really enjoyed that. Great sort of way to kick off that tournament. And then on Saturday, Golovkin and Derevyanchenko in New York. And listen, we couldn't have had a better fight. I mean, you know, whether Golovkin was ill, whether he was a bit under par, whether, you know, he's not quite what he was, it was a terrific fight. And Derevyanchenko was excellent all the way through. I thought Golovkin nicked it. Obviously, he had the knockdown. And I think that, you know, he was probably thinking it would be an early night, and he got dragged in a bit. And at times it looked like Derevyanchenko might even, you know, possibly take him out. But listen, it was a great fight. It shows that Golovkin is just value for money. He's entertainment whenever he gets in a ring. I'd like to see them do it again, but I don't know how many more Gennady will want like that, because that was hard.
Do you imagine that, although, you know, Golovkin did perform well, and at 37 that is an impressive performance, but can you imagine that Canelo might perhaps be pushing for the trilogy, seeing how much that would have taken out of Golovkin and the fact that he's also 37 at this point?
Well, Sal's got his own work cut out. You know, he's got to concentrate on his business on November the 2nd against Kovalev. You know, that's a tough ask. It's a big step up, and, you know, although many think Kovalev's not quite what he was, he had the win over Anthony Yarde, and, you know, that's a big jump up in weight, and I think Canelo needs to concentrate on that. But look, yeah, I'm sure he'll look at it and think, you know, I fancy Golovkin maybe more than I did, you know, 48 hours ago or so. But you know, look, stars make fights, as we know. You know, Gennady, maybe he was ill, maybe he had an off night, but, you know, he has had some hard fights too. So look, I'm just going to enjoy Gennady Golovkin while we got him. He's been a wonderful fighter for a number of years, and you know, he's still delivering performances like that. So you know, let's hope we get another year or two out of him.
And just finally, you did mention it briefly a minute ago, the MTK Golden Contract show on Friday night. Yeah, I think it's fair to say over-delivered perhaps in terms of the fights that we got.
I think it was one of those that sort of climbed as we went on. It was a slightly, we knew that the first fight wouldn't probably gel as a cracker. It was you know, a lot of skills and a lot of technique, and obviously the late replacement, and then, you know, Jazza Dickens, I thought, boxed really well, but again, you know, there was that knockout bonus and he didn't really go for that, whereas the other two seemed intent on getting it. You know, Ryan Walsh laid on, Lee Wood laid on. That was a great fight, the Walsh fight. That could have topped any bill. That was high quality, it really was, and he was excellent, the Cuban, and I thought, you know, that was a very good win for Ryan Walsh. Loved his fans, great atmosphere. I said, I'll tell you what, we'll have the semis here if you can bring double the amount from Cromer next time. Yeah. I'd love to have him back there. And, you know, Lee Wood brought his own fans from Nottingham. Really good fight again, you know, fantastic matchup. You know, that's what it brings to the table, the new contract. It brings these unbeaten folk in with the ones maybe that are slightly more experienced. You don't know who you're going to get on the week of the draw. I thought it was it's a great concept, and I thought it was an even better start. As you said, probably over-delivered. It was fantastic. We'll move on to the light welters in November, and I think it's very exciting times.
And just in terms of Sky, obviously you've got the super lightweights and the light heavyweights. Obviously, what was the response like from the people at Sky in terms of, obviously I know it's only show one and we've got the other weights to come, the response from Sky positive, and it's something that they want to keep going forward?
Yes, we loved it. I mean, we all really enjoyed working alongside the MTK crew. It was fantastic. You know, Matchroom involved obviously with the deal because Eddie's our UK promoter. And when I heard about this, first of all, Matt Macklin told me about the idea, and I called Eddie, and Eddie was right up for it. And I'm really glad we could get something over the line. And we got 3 this side of Christmas, then the semi-finals and final the other side. And I think it's a really good concept because it gives a lot of the sort of the pot of sort of British fighters who have not really been, and Irish fighters and international as well, who've not been given that chance yet, or maybe they've had the chance and they need that sort of bit more, and they've got that challenge now. Not only it's good money and it's a great sort of profile on Sky, but also they got the chance of a golden contract at the end of it, which is fantastic. So I think it's going to be a real success. Anyway, fingers crossed.
Right, Adam, this place is filling up and it's getting a bit loud, so I'm going to let you go.
Thank you.
Thank you for speaking to IFL TV, and I'm sure we'll catch up soon. Thank you.